kind of the one that initialized this whole program. She was working with the Oregon Nordic club, and their mission was to get people on skis. And she said, well, we should have a high school program. So she was like Chicken Little. They all told her it couldn't be done. There would be no interest. There was, at the very most, 6 kids in the whole state that skied, that raced. And one of them was my friend, Paul Parsons, who also helps coach us. So if you don't believe me, you can ask him how many kids were racing in the whole state of Oregon. And it was 6 that were serious about it. So I said it wouldn't work, but she got it together, and we had about 25 kids the very first year statewide. And then the next year it doubled. The next year it doubled. And next year it doubled. We got up to 180. Mountain View, we went from 12 to 27 to 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. 75 was our biggest team that we ever had. That was pretty big. And then we're pretty consistently now, before COVID, was in the low 60s to high 50s. And through COVID and post-COVID, we're in the mid 40s. So pretty good. And I think it's going to rebound a bit. I'm guessing that this year's team will be in the mid 40s at least, if not in the low 50s. It just depends on how things go. So that's kind of some history of it. The program, I'm going to start out with, I'm going to go over the schedule, and then the training, the transportation, equipment, and then registration and how to sign up. So to start out with, our season starts on November 14th. We follow the winter sports season dates. So November 14th is our first practice. We practice 4 days a week, practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. We kind of have 2 schedules. One is before we have snow, and one is after we get snow. So before there's snow, we practice right after school gets out. We usually meet at there's a volleyball sand court there, and we meet in front of there outside, and we'll meet there at 4 o'clock, and we go till 5:30 roughly. And then on, let's see, on Wednesdays they have early release. So then we usually meet around 1:15 at the same place at the school, and go till about 2:45. So practice around about an hour and a half when we're doing dry land. Dry land, we're doing plyometrics, a little bit of running, not tons of running, but a little bit of running, and then some ski specific drills, running with poles, some bounding, and we pretend like we're skiing when there's no snow. And then, so same on Thursdays, and then on Saturdays, if we don't have snow, we'll still meet at the school and do another dry land practice on those Saturdays. Usually we get in the snow pretty quick, so we don't, most of those Saturdays are going to end up being on snow. Once we do get snow on Wednesdays, then we meet up at the mountain, or at Meisner, sorry. Look at the time here, at about 2 o'clock, if I remember right on that schedule. So, and then we go till 3:30 on snow. So that's the amount of time that we're there. That doesn't count the time to get there. And I'll get into transportation a little bit later, but that just gives you an idea of the time commitment. Once we get going and we get into the race season, the first race we have is on January 6th. So it gives us a month and a half to get ready for the first race. So you don't just jump straight into it. You'll have skied plenty. I can't say I've never had a kid that couldn't ski the first race. I don't think I have. There's probably been a kid that's really struggled on the first one. but super, super rare. The first race that we do is a shortened race. It's only about 4 kilometers and it's pancake flat. So it's doable. And then we have a race. Then once we start the race season on January 6th, we have a race pretty much every weekend, every Saturday. We get 1 weekend off before the state meet, and the state meet is the 23rd and 24th of February. And then you're thinking, well, I'm a first year skier. I've never skied before. I'm from Brazil, and I actually haven't even seen snow before. We actually had a girl from Brazil that had never seen snow. And guess what? She went to state. So to get to state, doesn't matter how fast you are, you just have to do 3 of the races. So we have 7 opportunities to race once we get snow and get going. And you have to do 3 of the 7 to qualify for the state meet. Pretty much everybody at Mountain View does 6 races, the whole team. We have 6 core races, and then there's 2 kind of optional races in the different leagues that we can jump into. I'll give you some more on that. Okay, so that's training. That's roughly the race schedule. Transportation. So after school, you're just there. So there's no problem there. You just got to get home. But on Wednesdays, once we get snow, we'll go to Meisner and we meet at Meisner. And so the way the rule is written is that it's the parent's responsibility to get your child to the on snow practice. So you got to get them there at 2 o'clock to Meisner. So, but you say, oh, I don't have a car, I don't have snow tires. There's no way I'm driving up there every Wednesday and sitting in a parking lot for an hour and a half. And without, there's no Wi-Fi connection up there either. So no big deal. We have parents where we get to a carpool, and you just can log on to that, and there's parents that drive up, and you can just sign your kid up to go up with one of those parents. There's also some of the parents that are comfortable with their kids driving. They're seniors and they're experienced, and if the roads are in great condition, then they can drive up themselves and drive back home. And then we also encourage the parents to go. It's very rare if you're a parent and you say, oh, I have to drive my kid up there and I've taken a few of their friends, then you come ski with us. And we'll set you up with skis, and I see Tabitha smiling. We'll get you with skis, poles, the whole setup. And you're like, I've never skied before. It's like, great, come to that first practice and you'll just learn with the kids. You kind of fall around in the back and you're like, oh man, my kids are gonna be so embarrassed. They don't care at all. And you'll learn how to ski. And you know, if your kid's freshman, sophomore, time your kid's junior, senior, you'll be helping me with coaching. Is how it works. We need lots of help. We're all volunteer run. And you think, well, I don't know anything about coaching. A lot of the help with coaching is helping a kid get his ski in his or his boot in his ski, you know, or getting his pole straps on. We have weird pole straps, or you know, helping them if they fall down to get back up. So, anyways, that's how the transportation works. Usually, when we go to the races, we will carpool to the races also. We ran a little bit of problems with the school buses, just availability. In the past, we have taken some school buses to races that are farther away. So if we go to a race like at Diamond Lake is farther, we've taken a school bus before. But depending on the numbers that we have, then it's usually easier to carpool than to take a bus, and it's considerably less expensive for the team. Sarah, do you want to say anything about the buses?
I'll just say that Ben Lapine school buses aren't available to us anymore as a club sport.
Okay.
So can't use that. And then we're planning to go to Shasta this year, but not rent a charter bus. So parents plan to help drive the kids to Shasta.
Vacation.
How much did the bus cost last year, Sarah?
It was $4,000.
So, and then we ended up there. So the races are put on with volunteer help. And so it's all the parents are basically from, and Mountain View is the biggest team in the Southern League. So we usually supply most of the volunteers on it. So when we went to Shasta last year, when we were adding up, it's like, man, we could have gotten pretty much all these kids down here because their parents came anyways to help put on the race. Okay. And then, you know, if we end up with a real big team and we're a bit short, the last few years with COVID is how this, before the kids weren't allowed to drive on snow. That was one of the rules that we had. But through COVID, it was not feasible to get onto snow with that rule. So the kids were allowed to drive themselves on snow or to get to those practices. But I have a vehicle that I can take 7 kids in. So if we end up being short, I can swing by the school and pick kids up also. Last few years, it actually has been nice. For me, it makes my day about 1 hour less to an hour and a half less if I don't have to drive to the school, coordinate the carpool, drive the kids from the school up to ski, and then from skiing back to the school, and then from the school back home. Now, I just meet them there. It's been a lot less stressful for the coaches that way. Okay. I'm like, let's
Excuse me 1 second. They're chatting about Shasta.
Yeah.
And like Sarah's saying, the schedule's not finalized. But I checked with Dave Munson just 2 days ago to confirm that schedule also, because there's some teams from California that are interested in coming. And so he said that it would be February 3rd. So right now, it's not like in stone, is that, but that's the date he's talking to Shasta about, is February 3rd. If that helps, whoever's asking.
I think that's good too, because isn't that the second the kids have that day off school?
Where is February the 3rd?
End of the semester? I think Friday.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I just know that that's pretty finalized.
Okay.
Okay. February 3rd, that's a Saturday. So
That's right, Sarah. I'm looking at the school calendar. There's no school on Friday, February 2nd.
Yeah.
So we'll go down on Friday and we'll ski for fun. And race on Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be great. So where the races are is usually Diamond Lake, Meisner, Bachelor, Hoodoo, and Shasta. And then the Bachelor race is a state meet. They usually don't let us do a race smaller than state. Although that might be changing, because I did see the Pacific Northwest, the PNSA race schedule, and MBSF is putting on some races up at Bachelor, like some citizen type races. So that maybe not this year, but in the future that might come back. Okay. So for equipment, I don't know the exact number, but it's probably at least 150 pair of skis. So the skiers, the kids will need equipment for the racing. We do both classic racing and skate race. And so you need different equipment for classic and skate. So what we set the kids up with for equipment is a classic ski and a skate ski. And then we give them usually a combi boot. So it's one boot that works both. It's not the best for either, but it works good for both. It's called the combi boot, and it works for both skate and classic. And then the poles are considerably different length for classic and skate. So they need 2 pairs of poles. And then the cost on that is, if you we have it broken down to old equipment and new equipment. The new equipment is less than 5 years old. The old equipment is more than 5 years old. So the old equipment's not like it's horrible or bad or anything. It's mostly pretty good stuff. But we do the skis for $6 a pair, and it's for the full season. $4 for the boots and $2 for the poles. So that's if they're over 5 years old. So if you get all of the slightly older equipment, it would run you $20. Then if you go for the new equipment, then it's $25 for each pair of skis, $25 for the boots, $10 for the poles. So to give you a low end and a high end, it's going to be somewhere between $20 and $85. So it will be less than 85, but it'll be more than 20. And generally what happens is you have a mixture of the old and the new. So when we have a pretty good selection, with the money that we make from the rentals, we keep restocking as this equipment gets broken or worn out. And I've just purchased, I probably spent close to $3,000 to $4,000 on new equipment at the end of last year. So we have some good stuff there, and plenty to outfit you. So you don't have to worry. It's like, oh, if I come in late or I'm signing up on the back end of it, there won't be anything left. We have plenty left. Since we've accumulated the equipment, Mountain View, other schools have like Summit and Eugene and Lapine. They just said, hey, Eric, I'm just going to give you my equipment and you keep it and you rent it back to me. It's fine with that, because they didn't want the hassle of it. So we outfit Summit skiers, Lapine skiers, and the Eugene skiers. Bend High has a really good selection of their own skis. But the understanding is, since I'm taking care of it all, Mountain View gets for first choice. So we outfit all the Mountain View kids first, and then we go to Summit, Lapine, and Caldera. Although the returning students that have rented the equipment before, we let them come in because they're just usually picking up their old equipment that they rented the year before. So we rent a lot of equipment. It takes me and Sarah and a lot of volunteer help. We go 2 weeks pretty solid, and they're 5-7 hours. We're out there, it's dark, and we're using moonlight to find the skis. It's very taxing, fills up my whole garage. Both the cars get kicked out into the street, and my wife's not happy. She goes to work in a cold car so these kids can get their skis fit. So the sooner we can get it done, the better. It ends up that I don't put my car in the garage for 4 months because the equipment is there for that long for taking care of it and maintenance. So anyways, sign up on the list that Sarah has sent out and get signed up in there. I see 2 of the days are already full, but we have October 16th, 17th, and October 30th still have openings, and November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd still have openings for equipment. So the sooner you can get that, the better. And when you come to pick up the skis, then you'll also pay your team fee, that $40, and then you'll pay for the ski rental. We don't have a credit card reader, so you bring a check or cash in small numbers. Small bills, unmarked, non-sequential, so that Sarah and I can go to Hawaii after this. The team fit. So yeah, and then when you're here, I can show you some of the stuff on the some clothing and stuff also. For the fees, to understand that, I'll jump back just a little bit. How the cross-country ski racing is set up in Oregon is there's 3 leagues. There's a Mount Hood League that's the schools up in the Portland area. And then there's a Northern League and a Southern League. And it's confusing to people at first when I tell them this, but then once you're involved in it, it makes more sense. The Northern and the Southern League the Bend schools are split. And the reason they do that is because 80% of the skiers in the state come from Bend. So you can't put Bend, if you put Caldera, Mountain View, Summit, and Bend High all in one league, then we would be 80% of the whole entire state. And then you'd have two leagues that would have less than 20 skiers each in them. So the Northern League is Summit High School and Bend High School are in the Northern League, and in the Southern League are Mountain View and Caldera. So that's just the way it works out. So the organization that runs this all is we're not an OSAA sport, which is like football, basketball, wrestling, swimming, are OSAA sports. The skiing is too small of a sport. We worked really hard for about 22 years to become OSAA, and we got down to it, and they were going to take us as this on a trial basis, and we had great hopes. And then we went to the big meeting, and they said, "You guys are crazy. There's no way you can be OSAA. You're way too small." And Tillamook High School is going to cost them something like $1 million to buy all their kids' season passes and build a ski hill on the coast. So they said, no go. So we got our own organization that the base of it was from Alpine. It was formed 50 years ago, and it was called ORSRA, Oregon Interscholastic Ski Race Association. And that's what I skied for when I skied Alpine at Mountain View back in the 80s. About 3 or 4 years ago, we joined them, and we were Alpine Nordic combined, and we decided to split off just because it was administration work was getting too difficult. So we split, and we added an N for Nordic to our name, and now we're OSRAN. So we have insurance for the coaches, insurance for the kids. We have all the registration, the administration that is run through OSRAN. And so when you sign up, it's $65. And that covers all of that stuff I just mentioned. So
The second area is 60.
$60.
$60. Yeah.
Went down $5. Awesome. See what a bargain it is? Only $60. Jenny just saved everyone $5. Yeah, so it comes out to you pay that, and that you sign up there on the website. You go to the website, you sign up, and it walks you through all the steps. And then the $40 is the team fee, and that covers your trail passes when we go for training. So if we end up going to Bachelor because there's no snow at Meisner, they'll have the trail passes for that. Also covers your ski wax. It covers there's a donation that we make to Meisner so that we can ski there for their grooming. And it's an awesome deal. It cost probably between $150 and $200 per kid, and we charge $40. And you're just like, well, you guys are crazy. How do you balance your budget? Well, we have awesome sponsors, and we have people that donate money to it. We got our races. I was looking at the schedule. Got sponsors for all of our races this year. So that covers the trail tickets for all of them except for one. Most of them are just a fee. Like Meisner, they don't charge us, but we do a donation for each kid when we ski there. So anyways, it's a great deal for $40. And we lowered that because the OSRAN fee went up from previous years. It's just everything has gotten more expensive. And so that went up, and we try to keep it around $100. So it's similar to the pay per play for the kids. Now, if you're looking at that, it's like, man, I have rentals, and I have OSRAN, and I have team fees. And I see that, everyone's like logging out, done, too much, too expensive. Well, don't do that. Just talk to Sarah. We also have scholarships for that. So for the OSRAN and for the team fees, and even for the rentals. If you're thinking that's too expensive and you want to use an excuse that I'm not going to ski because it's too expensive, then you can't. You just go to Sarah and tell her, and we make sure that you ski. The 90% of why I do this is to get kids to be able to ski. And skiing is an expensive sport, and it's kind of a snobby sport, if believe it or not. Nordic skiers, the high elite guys, not all of them, but some of them are kind of snobby. There's grumpy old men that are out there skiing on their, $2,500 worth of gear, and they are really grumpy. And I love to take 50 high school kids up there and make them have to see us having fun. And they're like, how do they do it? And it's like, well, we make it work. So we've accumulated skis for over 20 years that we've been working on getting skis so that you guys can get the skis. I mean, it's a great deal. Our rental program is great. You'll be on, some skis might be 5 years old, but they were skis that, the guys in the Olympics were skiing on 5 years ago. And I got skis that the guys were skiing the Olympics 15 years ago, and they're really cool because they're like all colors like the 80s, and they're like, these are awesome, but they must just be junker skis. And then I can show you a picture of like Bjorn Dolly on a pair of skis that these high school kids are skiing on. He's a guy that makes his clothing that I'm wearing, and he won the most gold medals of any Olympic skier. So anyways, we got some good stuff. We'll make it affordable so they can get out there. It's a great sport. It's a lifetime sport. My dad's 86 years old. He's still skiing. My mom's 80 or close to 80. She's still skiing. So it's something you do the rest of your life, and you'll make friends in this program that you'll have for the rest of your life too. So that's pretty cool. And not only the kids, I tell the kids, get yourself and 2 or 3 of your friends to do it. And that's will be the most fun. I try to make it as fun as I can, but your friends make it more fun than no matter what I do. And then parents, you're usually most parents that are in this age that you guys are in that have kids in high school, which are younger than me now. They used to all be older than me. Now you're all younger than me, but you'll make friends in this program too, which is awesome. I mean, when's the last time you made a new best friend? When you're in your 40s, it's like, wow, this is awesome. So it's a great program for that. So there's my pump on that. Clothing, if you're wondering what clothing, I dressed up today to wear what I'd wear when I go ski. Thin jacket, you can see this jacket is basically just a shell. It's not lined. And then I got a base layer of a polypropylene, it's kind of stretchy base layer. I actually went skiing today. It was 30 degrees. I wore this and I was sweating profusely. On the bottoms, get a pair of pants that are similar to this top. So something that's kind of windproofy on the front, very lightly insulated. A pair of running sweats work, not cotton running sweats, but like Adidas or Nike running pants work great. We also provide a jacket that's really similar to this that you get as Team Issue Mountain View jacket. And then we have a race top that's similar to what I'm wearing underneath here. And we also do a race tights that you'd have. And then we have a pair of pants like the ones I just showed you that we provide also. So you get a pair of race pants, a pair of training or to wear over the race pants when it's cold, and then a race top and a light jacket, which would cover you for most of the time. The things that you need on your own, one of my favorites to get, I recommend everyone get, it's called a buff. It's just basically like a hat, but it's hollow through the middle. And you put on, and when it's super cold, you can ski like this with a light hat, and you can also rob a bank. And a pair of sunglasses, and you're good to go. This is freezing cold. This is like Shasta 3 years ago cold. And then for our gloves, well, you can see this. This is one of my heavier gloves on this. So it's kind of specific to skiing. So it might be something you want to go out and buy a pair of specific ski gloves. The reason is you got to put your hand into a ski pole that has a pretty intricate strap that holds around your wrist and around the thumb, and a big pair of downhill gloves just won't fit. And then it's kind of individual. Some people wear a little bit thicker glove than this if your hands get really cold. But for the most part, we're only out there for an hour and a half, and we're moving. So you don't have to dress super, super warm. The other thing that's good is...
Eric, I wanted to just show real quick the grip for the pole.
Yep. So that's the grip for the poles that you're going to get. And so you can see with Bob, a big, huge, like a downhill ski glove that's really thick isn't going to fit through there. So you need a little bit thinner glove, but you want one it's a good investment to get a nice glove. They're expensive. They're about as much as our team fee for a nice glove, like $40. I've seen a lot of stuff going on sale. They call them, it's like cracking the whip or chasing the tail for the COVID. They said COVID hit, everything's going to go bad. So they quit producing ski stuff. And then they said, oh, they closed the gyms. Everyone wants outside. So everyone wants ski stuff. And so they were short on all the ski stuff. And so they spent 2 years trying to catch back up. And now they caught up. And then people have too much inventory. So you're seeing a lot of sales going on now. Not so good for the shops, but good for us. So we can get some good deals on some gloves. So I'd look around. Web Cyclery, Sunnyside Sports, and Powder House will all give you 20% off through this month. So from now till the end of October. And then after that, I think it drops to either 10 or 15% off. But 20% off is pretty good on that.
There's also the MBSEF ski swap happening this
yes.
Saturday at the pavilion, the ice rink in town. So that's everything ski related. So that could be, alpine, just outdoorsy stuff, but you can find some Nordic stuff in there too. And that's this Saturday from 8 to 5.
Nice. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, that's a great place too. Really good deal on clothing there usually. So if you're looking for some gloves, hats, stuff like that. And then also like there's some of the like second season sports for Latitude 44. The consignment shops are good places to go to. You can get some good used stuff there for really good prices. Let's see. What did I miss? Over equipment. Dates. Okay. So you probably all have found the site, but a couple of websites to know is OISRAN, Oregon Interscholastic Ski Racing Association Nordic, or OISRAN.org. That's where you'll go to register. You'll also, and to find any of the stuff that's relevant to us, you go to the Southern League. So it's split up there. So go to the Southern League. That's also where you'd go to do the registration for OSRAN. And then the Mountain View Nordic, all one word, just mtviewnordic.com is our website. And they'll have our schedule on there. That schedule is not always 100% updated, but it'll give you a good idea. As far as the day-to-day stuff, the best way day-to-day is to go look at your email. Sarah will send you an email pretty much before every practice. Because stuff changes, we have to let you know. Once we get on snow, we'll say, okay, we're on snow. We're going to ski on Wednesday. And the weather can say, oh, it's going to be 32 degrees and slush snow coming down. So then we'll say, well, we were going to do classic that day, but now it's impossible to wax. So it's going to be skate. And I let you know at practice on Tuesday that we can change it as short as the day before. And then Sarah will send the email out. I'll tell everyone at practice, tomorrow's practice is going to be classic, long ski, short poles, meet at Meisner. And then Sarah will send an email out to let you know for that. A couple other fun things. We have the a race at Hoodoo is the paintball biathlon. So that one's pretty fun. And we have a camp on the December 16th, 17th. I think it's around there. So in mid-December, we also have we call a ski camp. So we'll get some coaches from some other schools, and other schools will join us. And it's like doing daily doubles. We'll go on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll ski in the morning, have lunch, ski in the afternoon, ski in the morning, have lunch, afternoon the next day. So 1 day skate, 1 day classic. So you get a whole bunch of skiing in that day. And then the paintball biathlon, we use paintball markers, and you get time taken off your overall time by how many targets you hit. And we'll also usually practice that during the our camp. They call it the Rainbow Camp. I think it's, from what I looked on the schedule, but I might have been looking at last year's schedule. It was like December 16th, 17th, but sometime around there, we'll get that ironed out. But that's a lot of fun too. The kids love that. Or if you're brand new to skiing and you're wondering how long the races are, or what the race day looks like, typical race day, we'll have a 5K race. It'll either be skate or classic. And then we'll have a relay race afterwards, which is a 3 by 1 kilometer relay. And they're both the same. So if it's a classic day, it's all classic. If it's a skate day, it's all skate. The state meet will have, the first day is skate and the second day is classic. And then everybody does the relay for Mountain View. Some of the other teams, their coaches are soft, not their kids' fault, can't blame them. But they're like, oh, you look tired, so why don't you go eat some soup and take a nap, and we'll skip the relay. And we don't. So just so you know, right off the bat, we all do the relay. It's great training. Kids say, I'm not ready for the first race. It's like, I'm not ready for a 5K. And I said, well, what do you think? You need some more practice? They say, yeah, I need more practice. Okay, well, here's 5K course. Go out and practice for 5K and wear this bib and you're going to get a time. So you just, yeah, you do it. It's a challenging sport. I really admire everyone that comes out to do it. They say one of my new favorite quotes is, be brave enough to do something that you suck at. Because if you've never done it before, it's really difficult to do. And you have to have a little bit of, you got to stick with it. Do 3 days. I tell a kid, you have to ski 3 days before you can quit. Because I have kids that are like, it's hard. I've had parents that are downhill skiers that didn't ski, and they watch their kids and they're like, oh man, why is Jake not doing better? I don't know. And then we got them on skis and they had a whole new appreciation for how hard it is. The skis are this wide and they don't have edges on them. They only go straight versus an alpine ski. So, and then also this is the cross country ski team. We do cross country. It's up and down. I've had a kid once join. They thought they were on the snowboard or alpine team. Their parents tricked them somehow. And once we got on the first on snow practice, they were like, wait a minute, where's the chairlift? I was like, wow, how did you make it this far and not know that we're cross country? So you'll get in great shape. You'll get strong. And I'm totally fine with you using this as a sport to get good at other sports with. It will make you better at any sport that you do. You get fit. Our races are at 6,000 plus feet of elevation, and they're 5 kilometers, and they're up and down. So you definitely get you get strong from it, and you'll, whatever sport you do. I love the tennis players. They love to do tennis after, because they say they had us. Remember when I was freshman and I didn't ski, and the coach said we had to run around the tennis court 3 times, and now we do that, and I just laugh because that's not even I raced 5K in a blizzard. So it makes you strong. All right, any questions I didn't cover?
I just had one question. I know last year there was a December race that wasn't actually on the schedule, but I think it was a Northern League race, and you guys
Yes.
encouraged the kids to go and just try it so
Yep.
that they got experience on the snow before their first official race in January. Will that be offered again this year?
Yes, it will. They're having their schedule. I mean, they're having their Northern League meeting was this week, and I can't remember which day it was, but they usually get their schedule pretty ironed out then. And that was,
Eric, they've already had their meeting. It was last
Yeah.
night.
do you know what date that
Yeah,
first race
I've
is?
got the schedule right here. December 13th.
Oh, yeah, I got it
is
right
the-
here circled.
yeah.
Yep. December 13th, Northern League.
Yeah.
Right there. So that'll be December 13th, and it's a classic race. Yeah, it's usually a classic race. So that's a good one too. We had probably about half the team do that. It's a little bit snow dependent for Mountain View, depending on you know, I hate to have it be our first day on snow. We never know how the snow goes, but usually if we get on snow early, there's, you know, everyone's pretty much ready to do that, to try it out. And the nice thing with that is that we in the Southern League have a overall competition. So it's the Southern League overall championships, and you accumulate points for every race that you do. And so with the Northern League race, if you jump in that, you don't have to worry about your points, which is nice. And then you get to, you know, Summit and Bend High are there, plus sometimes some schools from the Portland area come down also. So that's a fun one. And then there's
Just to
another
make one
race that's
correction, Eric. That race is on a Wednesday.
so
the
we won't
schools
get
in
any
Portland
Portland
area
schools.
don't come down for that. This is
Yeah.
a Wednesday race.
Yeah.
So
it'll
it'll just be the Central Oregon schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, Bend High usually has 40, 50 kids. They're a big team, too. And then the Northern League also puts on another weekday race, and Jenny might know the date of it. And it's a sprint race up at Hoodoo, and it's at night. And they usually do it during the week. And so I'll take some kids.
It's on a Monday, January 6th. Wait, I'm sorry, that's wrong. January 15th.
Yeah.
Which is a Monday, is the sprints at Hoodoo.
January 15th. Yep. And then I try to get as many kids as I can to do that race. It's really fun. You do about 500 meters. It's short. It's not even a kilometer. And then you race like 4 times. You race and then you get put in a different heat, and you race again, get put in a different heat. And I could spend the next hour explaining to you how they do the points, and then it wouldn't make any sense. And none of the kids know how the points work. And there's not really any awards afterwards. They just, in the last heat, if you won, they say you won, and no one knows how you got there. And if you try to strategize, it backfires. I remember my nephew had it all figured out. So he went slower in this one race because he knew he would be able to advance, and then they put him in a different heat. The next one he didn't. I can't figure it out. And plus they change it every year too. So, but it doesn't matter. It's just fun. So there's those two. Six. Oh, all the kids are at the pasta feed that will. We also do wax parties once the race season starts. On Fridays, we wax the skis for the Saturday race. They call them wax parties or pasta feed. And I was trying to figure out the last couple years where the kids would be at the wax party and they'd just go eat, and they wouldn't be waxing their skis, and we're setting everything up. And I was like, well, where is everybody? And you go in there watching movies and playing video games. And then I found out, it's like, well, for the cross country, they started doing the pasta feeds also a few years back. And so their pasta feeds, there's no work to be done. They don't have to wax their running shoes, or whatever, fix them, or maybe wash their shorts. I don't know. They just go and have fun and eat food. So I was like, you guys, we got to do some work. I'm sorry, but it only takes about 20 minutes to wax your skis. The rest of the time is fun and eating, but we have to get some work done for the wax parties. But I figured it out. That's why. All right, what else?
I wanted to. Sorry, Sarah, you go ahead.
Item.
Did you say me, Sarah?
Yeah, let's have
Okay.
Susan. She has something else fun that she's spearheading.
Okay.
Okay. And my name's Susan. My son Gage is in 10th grade. It's his second year on the team. I'm not a coach or anything. I'm just a parent. But we have, is it Coach Young that does pictures of the athletes while they're on the hill? Is that, so he does pictures and he gets some great photos, but what I am trying to organize is we have a photographer named Shelly Scarborough who did pictures for the Mountain View soccer teams. It was a super simple process. You don't have to worry about pre-ordering packages or anything like that. Basically, she'll just come and set up during one of the dry land practices at the school. She'll take a picture of all the athletes, individuals. You'll be able to opt in to a text if you're even interested in looking at the pictures. And then once she has the gallery ready, you go in and you find your student. And then from there, you can order. You can order a magnet, you can order pictures for the grandparents or for whoever, and then she just mails them right to you. She's not charging the team to come out, which is nice. There's no sitting fee. She makes her money just from the packages that the families order. So we're looking at the first couple of weeks after Thanksgiving break, just in case there's kiddos that are gonna leave early for Thanksgiving trips or whatever. And Sarah was saying it's probably gonna be a Tuesday, because Thursday is weight room usually, so we wouldn't want to interfere with that. But there will be an email coming from Sarah, I believe, that will have more details when we finally get that set up. And I think that's it.
Thanks.
Mhm.
And I want to say thanks to Susan. I want to give her some kudos. She spent all summer contacting businesses around Bend, and I think we have 4 or 5 brand new sponsors, including getting Polish to be a huge sponsor for our state championship. So thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's big to get another sponsorship, because we were basically short one. And I think now with the sponsors that we have, that will allow each kid to not have to buy a ticket, which is about $17 is what the bachelor charges us for the state meet per day. So that's a huge, it goes directly, that's basically getting each kid $17 that races at state. That's a big sponsor. Yeah. Awesome.
I had a couple other things, so I'll just do that now while I've been talking. Eric mentioned it, but I'll just reiterate, communication is through email. When you register your child, please put both parents' emails if you want them to receive it, and also put the student athlete's email. It's really great training for them to learn, to know what's going on without having to ask mom or dad. So I'm going to build my final email list from registrations. I won't be using this preliminary list I've been using so far. So make sure you enter all the emails you want me to use when you register your child on oisran.org. I also have a Remind account, and once I get everybody's contact info, I'll invite you to join it. What that is, it's like a way of text messaging. Sometimes we get to Meisner and the parking lot's full and we decide we're going to go to Swampy. It's a way for me to be able to send you a text, hopefully from Meisner. My phone doesn't work very well there, to tell you we're meeting at Swampy instead. Try not to change at the last minute, but it can happen. So Remind is just for super last minute communications where we're having an emergency, basically. That's communication. Volunteers, I'm going to set up a Google Sheet, and part of the main page will be about races, and if you can come help at races, and you don't need to know how to do anything. We'll have a training for the timing crew and for the course monitors. And yeah, we'll get you up and running. And like Eric said, it's a way to meet a lot of new people, and it's super fun. People make lots of new friends doing this. Adults do. Kids make lots of friends on the teams too. So there'll be the sheet that's about the races, and then there'll be a second sheet on that Google Doc that is about team specific things that we need parents to volunteer for. One right off that I don't have the returning parent for is coordinating the uniforms. So if you feel inspired to get all the uniforms coordinated for us and identified which students they go to, and there's sometimes some things to do during the season, fixing and swapping, etc. Could really need someone to step up for uniforms. Hosts for wax parties, and I don't know if Miller's will be back. I'm hoping she'll coordinate wax parties again this year, but we'll see. If you want to be the wax party coordinator, I'll just instruct you. It's just like figuring out who's going to take which dates and getting the info from them about where their house is and who's supposed to bring what. And then I just send it out to everyone. Then the end of season celebrations. So that is a parent run event. So parents, be thinking about what you would like to do for end of season celebration. We've done various things. We've had banquets, we've had an on snow costume party, different things. So we do have awards then that I coordinate, but I'm not a party thrower, so I need parents to organize that. Plus
I will also party coordinate with anybody who wants to party coordinate.
Perfect.
Just putting that out there.
So that'll be on the sign up sheet too, that I'll send you a link to that. If you don't have the links to the equipment sign up sheets, can you put a note here? Bob will pick it up. She's taking notes for me. Just put it in the general meeting group chat. And put your email there so I can send you the link to sign up for equipment. Eric mentioned it, and I'll just be very specific about funding the team activities. So we're just charging $40 this year. We want to keep the grand total at 100, but we're still seeking donations from anyone, parents, grandparents, friends, businesses, for our team. We have a lot of trail passes to purchase, and the hotel in Shasta is a pretty big expense. We purchase waxes, and other supplies for the team. Those are probably the major items. So you can either donate when you register. There's a box that says I want to donate to my school, or you can go on oasrn.org and there's a choice you can make to make a donation. Just make sure when you go to do that, you select Mountain View. Or if you want to support another team too, I had Mountain View parents who wanted to support Lapine last year. Hear that, Jenses? So great, they did that. But if you do donate to our team, we make this fantastic poster with the current team on it, and we recognize the donors in medal categories. So everybody gets recognized on the poster if they've made a donation. So we really appreciate that. It just makes it easier for me and Eric to run the whole thing if we're getting donations. I think that's it. So I'm the one who's sending you all the emails all the time. You'll be sick of me by the end of the season. If you're not getting emails from me, look in your spam folder. Your email server may think I'm a spammer because my emails usually go to about 90 people. So it's usually a way where you can identify me as a safe sender of emails, and then they'll go into your regular inbox. And that's it for me.
I have one thing to say. It is an unofficial, official requirement of all parents and volunteers to have a cowbell for cheering. unofficially, but it is super cool when there's just a ton of cowbells the whole way at the start, at the finish. If you go out on the trail to cheer, like sometimes the cheering is so helpful when it's at the hill that no one's at. And you're just like, oh man, this sucks. And you hear the cowbells and you just keep going. So I'm going to have my megaphone. And I have a stash of cowbells, but if you happen to find one, keep it with you. That's, I think, a really fun part of the team is just the cheering and the cohesion and just the fun factor. And I also think that's what separates Mountain View from a lot of the other teams. Like we just have a good time and everybody is always so positive and just the vibe is great. So that's my official requirement.
Thanks, Bob. You know, Bob, I somewhere is a big box of cowbells, and they're Mountain View cowbells, and they're big.
What?
And it was from, I think, I can't remember where we got them, Hoodoo or something. But I found the whole box. I think that box is in the storage unit, so we'll have to look.
Yeah.
There's like 15 of them at least, and they have MVHS on them, so it's pretty cool.
That's super cool. Okay, well, Eric's got the bulk of that, but still, there is no such thing as too much cowbell.
Yeah. So if you're, I'll just kind of add to what Bob said. If you're on this meeting tonight, it was like all your stars aligned and you got really lucky because you're going to Mountain View and you have the chance to be on the Mountain View ski team. And it is the best team in the state, probably one of the best teams in the country. I don't know the other teams, but in the state, coaches tell me from other schools that they wish that they had what Mountain View has. We train a lot together. A lot of the other schools, they don't have the dry land. They'll just do the on snow practices. And so they don't bond as close as we do. So you'll see it when you're at the events. The kids, all the kids on the team know each other and they're all super supportive of each other. And the parents all know each other and are friends. And we're the envy of the state for sure. So you lucked out. Not to rip on any other schools. They're all cool too, but we're the best. And we might not be the fastest. We have been the fastest sometimes, but generally not. And I'm a competitive guy. I'll get competitive. I loved it when the kids do good, just because it's something they get to take with them. I'm sitting here. This is my Mountain View mug. So we give the kids a 4-year mug. If they do the program all 4 years, they come out freshmen and they do it 4 years, they get a mug. And it goes back. This is I don't know if you can see it. It's MVHS 81, 84. I got this mug from the school. And we still keep that tradition going. So this is my son's. He went to Summit. We got him a mug. And my daughter, she was at Summit too. They skied with our team. They trained with us. So, but anyways, we got some good traditions. It's a great team. And we'll teach you how to ski and you can get as fast as you want to get. And you can have as much fun as you want to have. Have one rule at practice, and that's that you move. So you gotta at least be moving. I don't care if you're given 5% effort, you have to move. You can't just stop and stand. And that's the one I'm a little stickler on. Everything else, I'm pretty easy going. There's different coaching techniques. One is the coach that tries to motivate you by just screaming at you. That's not me. It's like, well, why are you picking on me? That's because I care. So if I'm talking to you and I'm giving you encouragement, that means I like you and I'm trying to get you to be better. If you've made me angry, and it's because then I'm not talking to you as much. I'll just tell you to move. So that's kind of my coaching technique. You can get as much out of it and you can become a pretty good skier. We've had some skiers that have one kid that raced the world championships after skiing. And I've had kids that have never seen snow and I've got them on skis the first time. The one that sticks out, it's not just once, but we've had some exchange students. One was from Brazil and she got there that first practice and we went up to Dutchman Flat And we got out of the car. I think we had a bus back then. We got out of the bus and she was just standing there staring at the mountain, standing in the snow. She was just didn't even know what to do. And I said, "That's pretty cool, huh?" She said, "Yeah, I've never seen snow before in person." And I said, "Oh, great, put your skis on and we'll ski on it." So, yeah, so don't have to have experience. And we'll teach you how to ski. We got some great coaches, that are really good at getting beginner skiers up and skiing. So,
I wanted to
go recruit.
Oh, I wanted to say one last thing. We have a team Instagram. So if you're curious of seeing like how races go, how practices go, what the team culture is like the Instagram is a really cool thing to do and to follow. There's also slight updates on that, but it's probably not the most reliable source. Like Remind, like Sarah says in the emails, are going to be where the updates are, but the Instagram is super fun. So if you're looking for just some ideas of what it looks like out there, be sure to follow. So yeah.
Hey, Eric, can you, I think I missed it. What was the timing, both pre-snow and once we've got snow, for Saturday practices?
So for Saturday practice, once we have, actually it's the same time. So if it's at the school, we'll meet at 10 and we'll just go an hour and a half. If it's on snow, we'll meet at 10 at whichever, if it's either Bachelor or Meisner. It's almost always Meisner. We didn't go buy trail tickets once at Bachelor last year. So that was because we had a good snow year and could ski at Meisner. But if the snow is really poor at Meisner, then we will be going to Bachelor and just buying tickets. It eats up our budget pretty quick, but you got to get on snow sometimes. So there was absolutely, I went up and skied today and there was no snow at the turnoff to Sun River turnoff. There was nothing. And I'd seen the pictures of snow up there, so I was all excited. And then you go up that extra 300 feet and there was 6 inches of snow on Dutchman Flat. And I saw pictures from guys that skied yesterday. That was pretty good. And it wasn't great today, but there was enough snow to ski on. Like if we would have had the whole team up and rentals ready and it was a Saturday and the snow was like this, we would have gone and skied today. There was enough snow to take the team up. I don't know if it'll last. It's supposed to be a El Nino, La Nina. I don't know whichever one it is. Doesn't make sense, but they're saying it's supposed to be a bit warmer and drier for us. It's by the averages, got like a 20% chance that it will be not a great snow year. But for Nordic, all we need is you need about 1.5 feet for Bachelor, is all you need. You don't need a ton of snow, just need enough to cover it up.
I want to add in something we didn't talk about. If you're going to be able to help us drive, or if your children are driving themselves to the snow, if you're parking at Meisner or Dutchman Flat or Diamond Lake Snow Park, you need a snow park parking permit. And I just buy a season-long one. You can either get it at the DMV, they have the quick line there, or you can get it at some of the local shops. The DMV on their website has a list of the local shops that have them. I know Sunnyside always has them. How about Web Skis, Eric? I don't know.
I think they do too. Yeah. I usually get mine at Sunnyside because it's right on the way for me.
REI, Mountain Supply, I think Powder House, lots of places have them. So just pick one of those up before the first time you're going to drive, because you have to display it on your dashboard or you get a parking ticket.
Finally also has them.
You can order them online
Oh,
Whoa,
from the
the
DMV.
Duvall family, you guys know what's up. That is
I've already ordered mine.
Dang, dude, you're efficient. Oh my gosh.
did they
When
mail
is
it to you? Do they
Is
mail
it starts
to you?
November 1st that you have to have one?
I think so.
it's
Yeah,
September.
November. Yeah. Then they just mail it to you.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I'll send out a reminder about getting them, so you know.
Right.
Oh, but no, the other thing. It's starting already November 14th. I'm like,
I know too, if you know your kid's gonna ski a lot and they're gonna ski on their own, you like ski on Sundays or you ski on holidays.
I haven't showered because I've been on this freaking
The
cold for like
Bachelor
an hour.
has a great deal for a Bachelor pass. It's 110 or 100, around 100. So it's worth it if you're gonna ski. It's not a requirement to get one, but if you are gonna ski some, then it's a great deal. You have to only ski like 6 or 7 times to pay for it. Okay. Anything else? You want to see any more of my mugs?
Hey, Eric, did you hey, when was the deadline for that $100 at Mount Bachelor? Did you
In the past, for the kids, they just left it open so you could get it any time. It didn't increase in price, and it didn't there wasn't a time where you could get it at cheaper. It was just they said this
Okay.
is a deal for under 18, I think it is, but it was made for the high school age kids
Cool.
for that. I know like Summit, their whole team buys season passes. That's like a requirement. So they just they're a lot closer to Bachelor than we are.
Right.
Because after school, they're right on Century. They just can book up there. But I've penciled it out, and it's never been for us to buy season passes. It doesn't pencil out. We don't go enough, even at their super good deal. There's one of the years we had really bad snow. It just didn't. It was good at Bachelor, but just lower at Meisner. They just never had quite enough. So we went to Bachelor a lot. And then I added up the number of days that we went, and it still was cheaper to buy because we just don't go. It's just once we get snow on Wednesdays, it doesn't make sense for us to go all the way to Bachelor. Time we get there, we just don't have enough time. And so, and then if you had the Saturdays that we skied there, wasn't enough to pay for the pass. But if you're going to do some skiing on your own, if you don't ski just exclusively with the team, then it's a great deal. So, I think my pass is over $300 for the adult pass. $100 is good. Anything else? I tell you that Atlin is super fired up to ski this year. She went and got her own boots, and she was so excited to get her equipment. She came a week early for the ski fit. And I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and there's a knock on the door. I'm like, what? Who's at the door? And Lori got up and got it. So I wasn't paying attention. I thought someone was trying to sell me, leaf gutters or something. And she said, I hear, is Eric here? And I'm like, what? And I went into full panic mode, Sarah. I was like, oh my God, because she was the first one. She signed up for the first. And I was like, I'm off by a week. I don't have any of the skis out of the garage. And I was like, okay. And I'm putting my shoes on. And then I finally got out of the panic and realized, I think you're a week early, aren't you? Yeah. So I'll have to tease her about that. I just figured she was super excited.
I feel like that may have been my fault.
Oh,
I think I talked to her not that long ago and was like, yeah, it's equipment time next week, like super pumped. And then I realized it was the next week. So I don't know, but maybe she believed me 100% and went. So
I think she tried to throw her mom under the bus. She would say, my mom told me to come.
I think it was me. And I just don't think I knew what it was going on. So whoops.
That's okay. Got me thinking about getting all those skis out. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I've had 3 months off snow. Time to get back going again.
I shall have respect.
Is the recording going to be sent out to emails so we could pass it on to people who couldn't make it tonight, but maybe have not registered?
Either the roads or the images. And that day,
Ginny will, when she gets it loaded up on YouTube, she'll send me the link and then I'll send it out to everyone.
Okay.
say because of the children of Israel.
Thanks, Sarah. And if there are any new families on here, this is like the best thing your kid will ever do. I this was like it made high school bearable. So this is an amazing team, and you will never regret it. And your kids will make friends that they talk to in their 40s, because some of my closest friends are the people that were on the team with me.
So if you don't know, Michelle came out for my first year coaching at Mountain View, and she'll probably know the number of years ago it was, like 23 years ago. So, and then after she went through the program, she came back as an assistant coach for a number of years also. So she was assistant coaching with her 3 boys with her, one in a front pack and one in a backpack and one in a tag along. And she was still coaching with it, dragging the kids along too. So I'm pretty excited. She'll be the first student that I coach that has a kid that's doing the program now. So, and she probably, I look the exact same, right, Michelle?
Yes, exactly the same, Eric. Just like I look exactly the same. I totally had created my hair in high school.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think we got everything covered. I'll let you get, well, hopefully you already had dinner before this. That wasn't too bad, just a little over an hour. It's just fun seeing everybody, so I'll just keep talking because I'm an empty nester. My kids are gone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Thanks, everyone.
It's Eric.
See y'all next week.
See you soon.
See ya.
Don't forget your cowbells.
Work out.
Got it.
Cowbells. Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you don't forget. Don't forget your cowbells. It's the last thing people hear when they leave. They're like, oh yeah.
I hope we can fill some more of that second day of the Tuesday. It doesn't have very many kids coming together.
I signed